This is the 2025 F-150 King Ranch, and in this video, I'm going to tell you why this is one of the best trim levels you can get on the 25 model year. This video is going to be a deep dive covering everything that I know about the new King Ranch F-150, which is quite some time. So grab a snap, grab a drink, and we'll have all the time cards listed down below so that way you can flip to the part that is most important to you. And first up, let's talk about the styling on the outside of the vehicle. Now, this is a beautiful color called antimatter blue. The reason I love this color is because at nighttime it looks black almost, but during the daytime it looks dark blue. But under extreme light, you see a whole lot of really beautiful flake in the paint. To me, it's one of the best sleeper colors out there on the market. On the front end of the King Ranch F-150, you're going to notice you have a whole lot of chrome on the front end. In addition to that, you also happen to have some bronze accents built into this front grille. Mixed in with the new logo of the Ford F-150, it is beautiful, and you've also got your cameras located in the front. Now, what you'll notice though is there's a brand new color for the King Ranch for 25. It's called Marsh Gray, and that's going to be the two-tone that is found on every single one of these King Ranch F-150s. And I actually think that this color looks pretty dang cool. I've seen it in a couple of applications, and it's neat to see it with this antimatter blue contrast. I've also seen this color on some other vehicles, some other colors, and it doesn't match all that well with all colors, so just be very cautious before you order your new F-150. And speaking of ordering your new F-150, you can actually order an F-150 King Ranch just like this one at invoice pricing. If you call the number on the screen, that'll link you in with our sister company, which is Town & Country Ford, and they'll be happy to actually get that order placed for you at invoice pricing, no questions asked. But you may not have realized this. Did you notice that the engine was running when we first started this video? And now it's not. Why is that? Because the vehicle is a Powerboost. The Powerboost, let's just go ahead and jump into talking a little bit about that. And I'm going to pop the hood to do that. So the Powerboost is a beautiful engine, in my opinion. I think it's one of the underrated engines of the F-150. And the reason is because it's got some tried and true technology built into it, but it also happens to have some technology that will make your life a whole lot better. So what do we have here? Right off the bat, it's a 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo. Basically, it means that you have twin turbos cramming more air into the engine, which can create more horsepower and torque. But the reason this is called a power boost is because it has a hybrid electric motor built into the transmission, so that way you can actually get a little bit more horsepower and torque, but you also get some capabilities like the Pro Power on board, where you can power 7.2 kilowatts worth of power. You can power an entire job site. You could probably power an entire small home right here with this. I remember a couple of years ago when Texas had their freeze over, the Ford dealers were donating these vehicles to people in need to help them get heat back in their house. I thought this was a really cool use of the technology. But this is a very similar engine to what you'll find in the 3.5 EcoBoost. The main difference you're going to find is this one has the hybrid electric powertrain built into that 10-speed automatic transmission, so that way you get that extra functionality. Now, let's take a look on the sides of the vehicle, because, you know, I actually don't have the keys in my pocket, but I should. But if I did, you'll notice you've got these power deployable steps. These are really nice for a couple of different reasons, not just because when you open the door, they open up, but in addition to that, if you've got the key on your person and the vehicle's not already running like this one is, all you have to do is walk up to the vehicle, it knows the key's getting close, and it goes ahead and deploys the running board for you. Now, the other cool part about this is Ford got rid of this feature. In the years past, on the power running boards for these vehicles, they had a kick switch where you could actually go, and when you would kick it, the power deployable running board would come down. Well, apparently that's not a thing anymore. So you actually have to open the door or walk up to the vehicle and hit unlock, and those power running boards will open up, so that way you can get stuff out of the bed of the vehicle. And speaking of naughty Ford, let's talk about another thing that the bean counters killed off, and that is going to be this. Ford has gotten rid of the keyless entry keypad wired built into the B-pillar. Now they are giving us a dealer installed option, as you see here. The downside with this particular system is that it is wireless, so you do have the possibility that this keypad could lose power if the batteries run out. Now, there is an upside to this, is if you wanted to, you could take this system and like mount it to the inside of the fuel tank, but the problem is this is a Powerboost, and so you can't actually get this open unless you're in the cab of the vehicle because it's a pressurized fuel system. But although I am picking on Ford in these two specific ways, I will say at least we're not Ram. Could be worse, but moving right along, let's take a look at this. I love the fact that Ford gives you a dedicated King Ranch style side emblem. F-150 King Ranch, and we got the squiggly line, which is the King Ranch logo. A whole lot more on the history of that here in just a second, so don't go anywhere. I'm normally not a big chrome kind of a fan, but on King Ranch, it's about the only situation where I think it really makes sense and it looks nice. Speaking of nice, we've got the 20-inch wheels. These are chrome PVDs. It's a chrome-like type of a wheel, which actually saves a little bit of weight, but still looks just as good and actually has just as longevity. You've also got your King Ranch logo right in here. Moving on to the side of the vehicle, I want to show you a little bit more about what we discussed just a second ago, and that is going to be about the fuel tank. So I mentioned to you that you can't open the gas tank back here. The only way to do that is there a dedicated button located right here, and watch what happens. You press the button, there we go. It's a delayed reaction. But you'll notice the reason that there's a delayed reaction is because I mentioned to you earlier, it's a pressurized fuel system because of the electric powertrain, the hybridized system. Because the fuel tank in this vehicle is actually a little bit smaller than you would find on the straight gas 3.5 EcoBoost version of it. And so what they do is they have the smaller fuel tank, so that way you can have the battery pack sitting right next to the fuel tank. That does make me a little bit nervous, but Ford has been doing this since, what, 2021, and we've not heard of a single issue there anyways. But a fun fact for you is that if you have this thing closed, and let's say you can't get into the vehicle or the battery's dead or what have you, there's actually a safety release listed actually down in here. I gotta find it. It's been a minute since I've looked for this particular one, but it's gonna be found in this wheel well. And basically what you do is you grab this cord, you pull on it, and it will automatically pop open just in case you can't get into the cab of the vehicle. The next feature I want to show you is actually the tailgate, but I've got to turn the truck around to show this to you. And this is a great opportunity to show you one of the things that I hate the most about the new Powerboost. So now, yes, I am pulling forward, whisper silent and forward. That's really, really nice. But the problem is because it's an EV and because of mandates, when you put it in reverse, you have this god-awful burn, 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 burn. I wish there was a way to turn this off pretty easily. But now that I've kind of pointed out that little gripe, let's take a look at this tailgate. Now let's take a look at the pride and joy of Ford's $77,000 F-150 shown here. That is going to be the new Pro Access Tailgate. Now this is actually a pretty trick little tailgate because it does a couple different things. Obviously you've got your up and your down power tailgate, so that's really, really nice. But that's kind of to be expected on an $80,000 truck, which by the way, it's actually not $80,000 because you get invoice pricing with Town & Country, and so it's a whole lot less than that. But it is really nice that you have that up down. And did you know, not only can you do it up down with the remote, you can actually do it another way. You can actually get this tailgate up with your knee. How neat is that? That way, if you've got your hands full of groceries, you can just simply knee it up and the tailgate does the rest of the work. I feel like one of those infomercials. But wait, there's more. Because if you hit this button located right here, you can also open the tailgate up at different increments. Ford has actually got it to where if you don't want it to come all the way out, you can do that. It stops right here, and then it comes all the way out this way. Now, the benefit because of this particular setup is, let's say you've got something further deep down in the bed of the truck, you don't actually have to get in it to get something out that you previously would have to. Now, I'm 6'3", so I do have a good long reach, but you can see that I can reach almost what is that, 80% all the way to the bed of the truck without actually having to step up or step into anything. And that's all because this little section of the tailgate is now gone because of that Pro Access tailgate. Now, when I shut this thing back, I'm gonna open it the other way to show you my next favorite feature is something that they didn't get rid of for 2025. And that is going to be this measuring tape. You actually have the ability to measure stuff off right here. You can actually use these C-clamp positions right here to clamp your wood down, and you can actually cut that piece of wood right here on the tailgate. Now, I don't know how many people using a $78,000 King Ranch F-150 will be working out of it like this, but you actually have the ability to power the entire tools with the Pro Power on board that we have in the bed of the truck. So not only can you power your tools at the same time you're cutting, at the same time you're probably running an entire lighting system if you're doing it at night, but this whole working out of the bed of the truck has really gone to the next level. Now, another thing that is not a brand new feature, but it is nice and welcome for the 24 and up F-150 is going to be this little storage hole that you'll find right here. Now, this is not a lockable setup, but it is something nice to kind of keep it out of sight, out of mind, and you do just have a little bit of extra storage in the bed of the truck. But keep in mind, you can also put on a nice bed cover if you want to. Just make sure that you actually get a spray-in bed liner before you do that, because I have so many people that want to put a bed cover on it and then they get a spray-in bed liner afterwards. It's much easier to spray it first and then put the bed cover on after that. And as a side note, I see y'all's comments down below. Let me know, what do you think about a $77,000 truck without a spray-in bed liner? It's a great way to trigger you guys down in the comments. Now let's talk about what makes the King Ranch the King Ranch. That is going to be the interior. This is by far my favorite thing about the new King Ranch F-150, and it's what makes it, in my humble opinion. Now, a couple of things. I'm going to cover everything on the inside since there is so much going on, but you'll notice you've got a nice leather upholstered steering wheel. You've also got power steering wheel as well, so it comes out, up, and down. And in addition to that, you've got 3 presets. So that way you and your spouse can both have their own key, and the vehicle remembers everything based on the key itself. So that is so, so nice. Now, what you'll notice is that I am 6'3", as previously mentioned, but you're gonna be driving the vehicle. This is exactly the seating position that I would leave it in if this was my daily truck. So I want you to remember that a little bit when we talk about the rear seat, because the rear seat room is absolutely insane. Now, on the interior, what makes it a King Ranch? Now, the first thing you're going to notice, you've got the leather is really, really nice. Established in 1853, you've got the King Ranch logo. From my memory, I believe the King Ranch is the largest ranch in the United States, and it's found in Texas. Ford partnered with them quite a few years ago when the partnership with Eddie Bauer kind of fell off. If y'all remember the old Eddie Bauer Explorers or Eddie Bauer Broncos, all of that kind of stuff back in the 90s. This is that new age, and it's going to be the King Ranch. So you've got this dual tone leather to it. The brown leather is really what the King Ranch is known for. But not only is it the leather, but it's the fit and the finish. You can see the satin chrome where it looks like it's got this brushed material. Now, I think it's just plastic that's covered, but it looks good. Even though it's not like a legit hard metal, it looks fantastic. But what I really, really love is the attention to detail on the King Ranch and the homage that it's trying to pay. Take a look at this right here. You've actually got an image depicted of the King Ranch right here above the instrument cluster, or right above the infotainment system rather. Now, you'll notice that the button layout while we're here looks very different. You've got your parking button located here, and what I like to call the poverty buttons over here. In the past, those were poverty buttons. I call them that because you'd get an XL model or an XLT, and there was a blank space where buttons used to be, and they would put like literally a blank here. It's kind of weird that you've got a fully loaded, fully maxed out F-150 King Ranch, and you still have what looks like dedicated blanks for features and buttons. So it's kind of weird to see that right there. But thankfully, they at least didn't get rid of all of the hard buttons, because that's one of the ways that manufacturers are trying to save money, is they're trying to move all of these physical buttons into the infotainment system because it's cheaper. You don't have to pay for this button or that widget or this widget. So it's nice that we have a dedicated camera button. Now, you have to have the hazards button dedicated just because of law, but you have your traction control button, you have your seat forward, you have your volume knobs, you have your heated seats, your air conditioned seats. It's really nice to have the dual climate control. But moving back to the seats for a second, there's a feature that is my absolute favorite. So on the driver's or passenger front seats, there is, if you stick your hand down right in here, there is going to be an up, down, left, right, and a center button. If you press that center button, it turns on a menu on the infotainment system that gives you the access to actually massage your butt and your back. That, in my opinion, is what makes the King Ranch the King Ranch. Now, thankfully, we're past the COVID years where they were using supply chain shortages and issues like that, where there's quite a few King Ranch and Platinum trucks that were supposed to come with this feature that never got it. Thankfully, we're past that time now, hopefully forever and ever, amen. But you have the ability to do a full recovery as far as the massaging seats. That's the one that I prefer, but you can go to a circular cushion where it just sits there and rubs your butt. That did sound a little bit wrong when I said that out loud, but anyways, that is nice that you have the ability to kind of go through this. Now, is this going to be the equivalent of going to a massage parlor? Absolutely not. The design behind this is you have tiny little air bladders that are inflating and deflating in certain patterns that is designed to keep the blood flow going. So that way you're on these long drives, you don't have to worry about your legs starting to hurt because you're over here trying to shift around, and you don't have to worry about that. The seat does it for you, and it is so, so nice. But if you don't want to go with the massaging, you actually have the ability to change it up a little bit. You can turn the massage off and then use those same air bladders to actually fine tune exactly what kind of lumbar you want on the vehicle all the way through. So if you don't like the massage, but you need more control on your lumbar, the King Ranch and Platinum is going to be the truck for you. Let me tell you why the F-150 is such a fantastic family vehicle and a vehicle that you can work out of, starting with the center console. Take a look at how massive this thing is. I mean, you could just about have a party down in here with all of the space you have. You've got 2 USB-Cs also located in here, which is nice. You can power your stuff, close this down, and then you can even lock it. But if that wasn't enough, you can actually turn this into a mobile workstation. The way you do that is you hit this button to fold the center console shifter down into itself, and then press the button and fold it open. Now you've got this nice place that you can either work or eat your cheeseburger if you're me, because I like food, right? Yeah, I know you probably didn't realize that, but it is nice to have this whole functionality. And if that wasn't enough, you also have the ability to do wireless charging on your phone located right here in that center console as well. USB-C, USB-A as well, and you can even close that off so your phone is out of sight, out of mind for whatever you need it to be. Now, I showed you this little King Ranch logo up here, but I don't think I pointed out one of my favorite King Ranch logos, and that is going to be in the actual door itself. This metallic look is fantastic. It's, once again, it's the attention to detail on a mass-produced vehicle like this that really makes the difference. Now, I told you this was going to be an in-depth review, so I'm going to continue to go on as deep as I possibly can to provide value for you guys. The only thing that I'm asking in return is to hit that like button, and once again, if you're wanting to order one of these vehicles or pick up one of these remaining 24s that we've got some smoking deals on, just click on that link down below or call us. We'll be happy to help you. That's the only thing we ask. This video is not designed to sell you anything. It's hopefully to help you there. And then if you decide that you are in the market and you want to give us a shot, we'd be absolutely honored to help you. But moving on into the instrument cluster for a quick second, this is where you can get all of your telemetry of the vehicle. In addition to that, that's where you cover a lot of things like the heads-up display and how you can change that. And by the way, I know Ford watches these videos because I've talked to them and we're good friends with them. Obviously, we're a Ford dealer, but we also have a lot of people that watch our videos, and so they watch every single thing. So I have to be careful to what I say, even though I have been very critical of them in this video. But one of the things that I love about the heads-up display is the heads-up display. It's nice and bright. You can turn it off if you don't like it. You can rotate the actual image. But one of the things that I wish Ford would change is the default setting. So you'll notice the default, the HUD stays on. But what you don't realize is that you have to go into content and change what you want to see. But the driver mode layout is the most important. For some reason, all of these F-150s are defaulting to the off-road mode, which doesn't make a lot of sense for a lot of different people. I don't know why they don't do this, but they should leave it to automatic right out of the gate, because this is what is the cleanest and keeps people from being distracted with having this heads-up display located right in your line of sight. The back seat of the F-150 King Ranch is really nice. Once again, I am a tall individual, and as I mentioned to you earlier in the video, I left the front seat in my perfect driving standard. So you have two 6'3" guys back to back. I could just about do a tap dance back here. So it's really nice. Unfortunately, you don't have the multi-contour seats in the back seat, but you do have heated seats with these buttons located back here, as well as an old school type of a cigarette lighter. If that even remember, I might be showing my age there, but either way, you've also got two USB-Cs and another household outlet plug that complements the household outlet plug I forgot to show you up front. But I'm not done in the back seat of the vehicle, because you've got lots of different cup holders. You got a cup holder here, you got a cup holder here, you have two more here, you have two more here, and you have two more in that door. So if your kids are really thirsty, this is the great vehicle for you. So I want to show you the back seat a little bit more. And to do that, I'm going to lift this seat up, and I'm also going to lift this seat up. So there's a couple of different places of hidden storage. You have hidden storage located right here. You also have real storage located right here. And this system actually collapses down if you need more space to put something bigger back here. But let's pretend for a second this piece is up. You can actually put this seat down, put the other seat down, and there's a keyhole over here and on the other side, so that way you can lock the seat in the down position. So that way you can, it's not like a safe or anything, but you can secure longer items like a rifle, or if you wanted to put a short broomstick back here, I guess you could do that, whatever. I prefer rifle, but either way. Now the other part, to kind of demonstrate how massive the back seat is of the F-150, once again, I am a massive individual, and I can actually walk all the way through. Pretty simple. This is really how you want to do it. And everybody say hi to Laurel. No. Yeah. Moving to the front seat of the vehicle one last time, I want to show you a couple of other cool features that you need to know about. First off, if you come in here and click on features, there's quite a few different things like driver assistance that I'm going to show you in just a second. But zone lighting is something that is really not talked about much. Zone lighting is the ability to turn on a perimeter light all the way around the vehicle, or just in specific sections. So if I wanted to say I wanted to light up the entire campsite that I'm at, or the work site, you click all zones, and then all the lights turn on all the way around the vehicle automatically, no questions. But if you said, hey, you know what, I don't want to blind the people over here on the passenger side or in the rear, you can pick and choose which zones you want to be lit up. Now, there is a safety feature built into this, so you can't do this while you're driving down the road, but it is nice that you have that. A couple of other features I want to talk about on the inside of the vehicle. The massive panoramic twin panel moonroof above me is really, really nice, but you also have the ability to close the shade up completely, and it is really, really nice. Now, I'm not going to close that off because it is getting a little bit dark outside, and I want to make sure the camera can see what I'm about to show you next, and that is going to be the HomeLink system. This is the ability to automatically pair up your garage door opener or gate access right through here, built into the vehicle, so that way you don't have this big old list of garage door openers lining up your rear view mirror. Now, some people love this, some people hate this. I prefer the ability to have the garage door located here, because if I'm not feeling too comfortable, confident, I got to park my vehicle outside, I can just take it, pull it off, and walk inside. But technically speaking, if somebody opens up this door and they hit the button, they could open up the garage door to your house, and I don't necessarily like that. All of this talk of safety and security actually brings up a good topic. Ford is bringing out a brand new security package for the 25 Ford F-150. Now, this thing is pretty wild because it has something called Start Inhibit. So if you live in a crime-ridden place, you can actually hop onto your Ford Pass app, lock the vehicle down, so even if you have the keys, nobody can start the vehicle until they turn off the Start Inhibit right here from your smartphone. In addition to that, they'll even pay you a small deductible if someone is actually able to steal your vehicle. It's pretty wild, and it's pretty cool that Ford is including that for 1 year on all 25 model F-150 purchases. But the last feature I have saved is one of my favorites, and it's going to be this right here. These two black pieces of shiny plastic, actually serve a really good purpose, and we're gonna go take it for a test drive to show you what it does. Those are actually sensors, and they are sensors that are looking at my eyeballs. Why in the world do I have a brand new truck that is analyzing my eyeballs? Because it is trying to make sure that I'm paying attention. Now, as I get onto this interstate right here, you're gonna notice that I can turn on my cruise control. And when I do that, it's going to be looking for the lines in the road, and it's gonna be looking for vehicles in front of me. And once it gets a safe, secure sense of what's going on, the vehicle will automatically turn on something called Bluecruise, which is hands and feet free driving. And those two sensors are actually looking at my eyeballs to make sure that I'm paying attention to the road. But this version of Bluecruise on this particular vehicle has got a 1-year free trial. After that, you do have to pay for it. But spoiler warning, I've got it on my wife's Bronco. And it's a good thing that it's only $50 a month, because if it was $150 a month, I probably would still pay for it. Not because I'm a dealer, not because Ford's paying me to say that. It's so nice when you're taking a long distance drive, no hands, no feet, just got to pay attention. And you know what? This guy in front of me, he's going way too slow, so I want to change lanes. All I got to do is hit my blinker and watch the truck work. Watch me work, watch me work. And it is really, really nice. Now, if I want to speed up, I can do that. Just set my desired maximum temperature. Set my maximum speed. And let's say I want to set it up to 80 miles an hour, because what I found is that above 80 miles an hour in all of my testing is that above 80, the system deactivates, same thing, and you have to grab the steering wheel again. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, like, bro, I do not trust a car to drive for me. Now, the nice part is let's say that I want to get back over, and let's say I got to do it evasively, I can actually grab the steering wheel and take control at any point in time, and everything is good. Once I'm in this other lane for a quick second, guess what? It's going to automatically pick back up. Bluecruise is good to go, and you're good to go, literally. But what is so cool about this system is that it's not only using the optical sensors around the vehicle, like the camera in the front, the camera in the rear view mirrors, and even the camera in the rear, but it's also using radar sensors to make sure that I'm maintaining a safe distance between me and the car in front of me. I am a massive, massive fan of Bluecruise, with one major exception: the liability that comes with customizing vehicles. Because y'all know the only thing I love more than Bluecruise is a vehicle that is customized. And the problem is, you start putting a big old lift kit on a vehicle with Bluecruise, there's a lot of reputable shops that don't want their name associated with that, because there's a serious liability that if you get in an accident while using Bluecruise and the vehicle's been modified, that's asking for a $100 million lawsuit if someone's life is lost in that situation. But notice how, whoa, that's crazy. So somebody kind of slammed on the brakes here and kind of cut me off. The vehicle automatically slowed down to 53 miles an hour. Notice I didn't touch the brakes because I trust the system. Notice I didn't have to touch the steering wheel. And eventually, if it realizes that I want to go 80 miles an hour and it realizes there's plenty of an opportunity to move over, it'll even prompt me that says, hey, there's a lane change available, which I think is a really, really neat feature. The newest version of Bluecruise that's coming out on the new Mustang Mach-E gives you the ability to automatically lane change. You don't even have to hit the blinker. How lazy do we have to be? So with that being said, let me know down in the comments, what do you think of the new King Ranch F-150 for 2025? Do you think it is a value at $77,000? I really want to know down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.